And that's it's it's not for trophies and it's not for the score, which we all will say that, and fewer will actually believe it. But it is that training ground of how you deal with people. It is a big social experiment, sports, from that age, and how you deal with they're trying to stop me from doing something, I'm trying to stop them. Does that make you enemies? And then it escalates to real issues like about gender, sexuality, and all those things, which, of course, they don't tell us that we're getting to sports, but that's really what I think. That's why I do this now. Again, the show doesn't always talk about sports, but it is one of the things that we all seem to relate to. And with lacrosse, you mentioned you're not sure why, it's a special sport, but I had told my players the background about lacrosse, that it's the Native American game. And I guess that's the irony here, that it's a bit of an elitist white sport when it was only brown people that invented it. And they sure
Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah.
I think about that all the time. Like, man, I feel like we should be doing more for, especially that demographic of people and bringing awareness to that. But that's whole nother podcast.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, we don't have that much time left. But
right.
But within lacrosse, I was letting them know, because we actually had a minor ruffling of feathers among players early, and we had to tell them about teams and things like that. But I had mentioned that this is one sport that I take seriously. You don't really mess with, because it was a sport that was meant to solve problems. They didn't try and see who could beat the other one. They said, we're going to play, and whoever wins, you get all the land that side of the creek. That's what it was for. It was to avoid, conflict. And when they played, it wasn't to say I got the trophy. They played for their creator, to say, yeah, look how hard I played today. And nobody was watching. I mean, literally,
right.
Nobody but the Buffaloes were, outside their circle. We're watching them play, and it really is a very pure game. It's a with a capital G, and I think I think that's what I run into people through lacrosse. And I love baseball, was my first love, and I like basketball because of the chaos. And all of a sudden, lacrosse was a combination of, it had some chaos, and it had these skills. Very, very special skills. Some a little like basketball. Some that could be a little bit more refined, like whether you're a football, soccer, or baseball. But then it was just the people, and the ones that I met from the East that somehow ended up going to college in the Midwest. They took the game very differently.
Right.
Not more seriously, but definitely more honorably. And I think that's what. I think it's a good vehicle for what you're looking to do. It's a very strong one.
Right. I mean, I thought that I could change the world through poetry, when I wanted to be a poet. And, I found lacrosse, and, I'm really into sports. And now I truly believe, I can change the world through this. Now maybe I'm not doing poetry anymore, but I know I can make a difference in this sport by exposing people to it, giving them opportunities, by, honoring Native Americans. Like, you can make a difference. And I think this is how I'm meant to make a difference.
Clearly. And I mean, tell me about Sargent now, because your son is how old now?
5 months.
5 months. Oh, my goodness.
I know, isn't that crazy?
So with all we've been talking about now, so you take a look at Sargent, and of all the things, that you've gone through, what comes to mind when you look at him?
Oh, man. I mean, I'm surrounded by women all day, every day. I cannot believe I've been blessed with a little boy, but I just think about how I want to raise him to be, a man that respects women. Because that's so, it's something that I'm exposed to constantly. I went to UVA. I had to go through the Yardley incident. I'm in college athletics through all this turmoil that's going on. And she's like, man, I can make a difference by raising a man who knows how to respect women. And, that's the most important thing to me, that he learns to respect himself, respect other people, defend people that maybe aren't strong enough to defend themselves, but especially understand how important it is for young men and grown men to respect the rights and thoughts of women, because it's right.
Beyond tolerating? Because I think that's a common substitute, which is to tolerate.
No, he will honor them.
Right.
Yes, but he has two mothers. He has no choice. So, I think it's paramount, and it's how we're going to raise him. And I hope that he influences his friends, and I'm just going to plant the seed that I hope grows everywhere.
Well, and it will. And that's, people would say when girl number 4 came through, they would actually say to my wife, and I know they meant well, they said, "Oh, your husband must be so disappointed." And, well, they mean well. They do.
Right.
And she would just say, "No, he's pretty good, actually." And because we stopped picking boys' names after the second girl. We just said, no, this is probably how it's just going to turn out.
Right.
And, it's a really cool thing for me to watch these, they're now all teenagers. Well, I guess I'm temporarily I'll have 4 teenagers, and then one's going to become 20 this spring. And it is about being able to appreciate. And it's not, again, just because I have 4. It's made it so obvious to me, but that was the way I was raised. Clearly, my dad, his mom was a big influence on him. And, the things that I didn't realize you needed to be respectful. I just thought you just were. And like you say, you talk about, you realize, you thought there was, people were tolerant, and then you find out, it's not like that everywhere. So that's a big topic for me as well. And that's another reason why if on this show, we tend to actually have, I think, more women than male guests, because nothing against us guys, but for the most part, there really is there's a sense of the need, for more empathy without being a bunch of sissies, and that's why I just love, there's so many strong women like yourself say, look, you can be compassionate, and by the way, she'll probably kick your butt, so there's nothing soft about being compassionate like that. So, Jessy, this has been, it's been fantastic having you on, talking about this. I know we could get into other topics. Is there anything else you want to bring up before we wind things down here with any groups you're going to be seeing, or any, whether it's, you mentioned about Yardley, whether it's Love One Foundation or anything, or One Love Foundation or anything else like that?
I mean, I think, One Love is great. I think that the WPLL and what Michelle DeJulius is doing is also great. What she's doing for, young professional athletes. I'm super excited about doing that this summer. And what we're trying to do at George Mason, I think we're churning out a lot of great leaders and women that are going to enter into the workplace that are going to really impress people, besides what they do on the lacrosse field. So those 3 things I'm excited about.
Well, and I'm really looking forward to, again, seeing what you accomplish. A friend of yours, Kevin Atkinson, may be listening right now. I said, do you remember Jesse's like, oh, yeah. And he went on to rave about you. Didn't say one thing about your coaching or lacrosse abilities. And that's, I think, that the greatest compliment.
Oh, for sure. He's great. I'm sure my players are listening. So, shout out to them. And Kevin's a great guy. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it was, it was just so nice to see when I realized that not one thing about your coaching or playing abilities, which is, again, what people will know you for. It was just what type of a person you are is all he kept typing about as we were texting back and forth. So I hope I've got you blushing there, and that you have a great evening with your son. And again, thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to having you on again.
Thank you so much.
So everybody else, thanks again for tuning in tonight, and we'll talk to you next time on Make It Play.
Well, it started out down a dirty road. Started out all alone. I'm learning to fly, but I ain't got wings. Coming down is the hardest thing. So it started out for God knows where. I guess I'll know when I get there.